Superman issue 2 by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, who shared writing and Gleason's on art.
I think they're both just classed as storytellers.
Yep.
Because it is. I don't think it's that Gleason writes. It's that he just contributes so much to the story with his art that.
But
they
it's
class them
worded.
both.
It's worded differently than other
No,
comics.
no,
Yeah.
they're both listed as they're credited as storytellers rather than writer and artist.
Let's see. And Wade and Somni do the same thing when they team up. So.
Yeah. Worth noting though, it's different than everyone else. 'Cause everyone else is just, this is the writer, this is the artist.
Yeah.
Which fair enough. I can see what they're doing. At the same time, I think though, there's nothing wrong with distinguishing either. Like.
Yeah, but I mean,
Man
if
Upon
you're
a
new to
Bootstrap.
comics, if you're new to comics, it can be a little weird trying to figure out who's writing and who's drawing. But it's a little. We have the internet now, so it's not that hard.
Yeah. And it still
But the
follows
rest
the
of it-
general rule of writer then artist when they list
Right.
them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But again, comics have enough hoops to jump through for new people. They really do. But yeah, Superman issue 2, Superman issue 1 was a smash hit with us when it hit a few weeks ago. We all picked it favourite of the week that week. So interesting to see if issue 2 held that quality. And while I would say that issue 1 was better, it's not because issue 2 is in any way weak or bad or anything like that. It's just that issue 1 was so freaking special feeling that issue 2 keeps up the quality. I just liked issue 1 a bit more.
I don't even know if I agree. I don't know which one I like more.
Yeah,
it's not by much. It's like a smidge. Like I think I just like it was like fewer, simpler scenes in issue 1 that were like heavier. Whereas this, there was more stuff going on.
I'd have to really think about it to decide which one I think was better.
Do you know what I think it is? Because we introduced a villain in this one, or at least a potential villain. I'm assuming it's the villain.
Yeah.
It seems like the villain. And I think the villain, and there's nothing wrong with what they introduced villain-wise. I think it's done fairly well. But at the same time, we're interested in a villain almost slightly takes away from it, just because
you almost don't want a villain at all.
Yeah, it's like that's not what this is about, really. Kind of thing. And it could end up being
As
great.
a Superman fan, I don't care which one's better. I'm just glad they're both great.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
All of that was really just my way of saying the quality's held up. And anything I say about this not being as good as last week is not because there's anything wrong with this. It's just issue 1 was that fucking good. So issue starts with Superman taking John to a situation out, and they have a bit of a conversation about what happened at the end of issue 1. And Superman just explains, the League were there for me, and he's like calming him down, and he's like, right, watch and learn, son, I'm going to save this submarine, and oh dear, tentacles.
Yeah.
It's not
Just why
quite.
not?
It's not quite a kraken, but it's might as well be.
That's
Just
the thing.
about.
I kind of wish there was no villain and the whole series was just cleaning up messes like this, like small everyday things almost that Superman just does.
We're calling the character a villain, but the character's never really traditionally a villain.
No,
I think it's going to be more antagonistic, but I definitely feel like action's going to be the more plot-driven
Yeah.
villains in the arc, and Superman's this more quieter, not, I won't say human because they're alien, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the quieter book with the kraken.
yeah. And that's the territory with Superman, though, right? Like, he fights.
that's kind of how impressive that this book is, though. That you can have a Kraken there, and it kind of feels like it doesn't even matter. It's kind of just insignificant in comparison to the relationships.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm sure we all want to talk about Superman getting John to use his heat vision because he has to hold open the thing so that the weak parts, out. And that panel after he blasts his dad instead because he's young and Superman's basically, to go into some gaming terminology, Superman's like get good.
Yeah.
And then we get that wonderful panel of him, like the coat is thrown open and we see that he's wearing a Superman top.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty badass moment, and he uses heat vision on the thing.
And I like what Clark tells him about, aim small, miss small. Trying to show him how to focus his heat vision. And it's like, For all the people that are complaining about Superman being a dad, this is much better than what we were getting because he's teaching. You know,
Yeah, I don't get all the people who look at this and go, oh, wait, super dad, oh, like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I think
Idiots, read it.
we should take Superdad back. Like, make it like this is a positive thing because it is.
yeah.
Him being a dad is literally the best thing
This-
that has happened in years.
Well, and this is no different than Pa Kent taking Clark to go fix the fence on the back 40. You know, like this is what their job entails now. So
Yeah, it's no different. There's a Kraken, but it's no different.
no, yeah, I mean spiritually, damn it, you know what I mean?
I'm being facetious, calm down.
I know.
But I love that when like Clark asks him about the top, which it turns out John has just bought it at a second-hand clothes shop.
Yeah.
He's like, what does this mean? Do you want to be called Superboy or something? Like, I like that stuff. And then we get the scene where he talks about the cat, and
Oh, poor Goldie.
this was deeply upsetting. And he's I mean, I was always expecting Clark to be understanding. I didn't think he would throw a fit. He's Clark, but he takes it rather well, you know, as he does. And this is when we get the first tease of the villain here. Also, you know, all this genome detected, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All comes out. All a bit of setup. House of L, and we see that they've buried the cat, which is, you know,
It's nice. They had a nice little funeral.
it's a nice moment. I'm still all upset about the cat.
I mean,
Here's
get over it. It's just a cat.
well, either way, the hawk was gonna make off with it.
Yeah.
Cat had no business being outside.
Cat,
Like-
cat, was,
like
cat
that.
was dead already. Just you know,
So-
move on.
All right,
It's-
possibly the standout scene. Possibly.
Oops.
Careful, Matt.
I'm sorry.
Possibly,
excited.
because the opening with him ripping open the jacket to reveal the S and using his heat vision was badass. But the scene with his Lana, which until I remember her name, I'm going to call her his Lana, was quite good as well. And it also, I mean, in plot terms, it sets up an interesting little bit of mystery that John right now can still get hurt.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is this just because he's this young? You know, because Lois brings up the whole idea that, well, wait a minute, he's getting heat vision and super strength, but he can still get scrapes and have concussions. Like,
Right.
is this because he's like half and half? Because obviously he's half human.
Yeah.
So are the rules different? Is he more vulnerable forever, like compared to what Superman is? Which is
Right.
interesting. And maybe that's something that means that when he is in Super Sons with Damien, he isn't as like indestructible. So Damien's like, wait a minute.
But that's why I love it, because Damien acts like he's indestructible.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But that puts him on a closer to level playing field than Bruce and
Right.
Clark ever were.
Yeah.
You know, because he is a little bit more
That's-
vulnerable.
And that's where it should be. I mean, he's still learning. He needs a learning curve. You can't just have, like 50 Superboy going and lifting up Mom and Pa's car just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
Like this adds an interest to it that he has to be careful. He can't just be his dad and rush in, without thinking.
I really like the way that whole scene was structured as well, because you had it like paralleled with Clark and Lois,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I thought it was just fun because I think the bottom of that page they're actually split up and like they do parallel in opposite directions. Like there's like a real nice symmetry of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I love as well that because one of the things that occasionally is alluded to with Superman is that the powers come with puberty, and I love that when his Lana touches his hand, and he clearly, he reacts to that. The cute girl's touching my hand. He breaks the tree branch with his with his hand.
Yeah.
Dear, that was pretty
Yeah.
good. So, and an interesting scene actually when Clark actually gets a little bit angry.
Testy.
Yeah, just a little bit testy.
I liked
yeah.
it.
What I love more about him getting tested though, when the girl's grandpa's like try to be nice and be like, oh, we can get him in a truck, we can take him to the hospital. I like that Lois like calls him on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like that. I like that he can still be. He can be a dick. Like it's possible. He's not immune to that. And Lois is the one person who will call him on it. At least if she's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think. I think Bruce would call him on it too. If Bruce is a present and Superman acts like a dick, I'm pretty sure Batman's going to speak up.
Although with Batman's, propensity for secretism, like being secret, like you kind of him going, "Hey, you don't got to be so aggro," but I get where you're coming from. But
yeah. But
no,
I like that.
She even calls him. She goes, "I've seen you do the mild mannered thing, but this, angry dad."
I think it's really interesting as a new dynamic for Superman in general, because obviously we don't really get to see that side of him ever.
No.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something that should be interesting over the course of the series.
Because it's something new for him, because it's something that, like, because he's never had a kid before, this is something that people naturally get overly protective of.
Yep.
It's this thing of, like Matt was saying, that it's the human series, because it's this thing that is relatable, because obviously people who are parents have to go through like no one's a parent with the first time. You have to go through it new, like that's it. You've got to learn it as you go, and even for Superman the same thing applies. Like you'll know, because obviously everyone knows basics, but until you're in the position it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And they do a nice transition at the end where he's like, okay, the only place we can maybe find an answer as to why I can still get Hearts to Fortress. And that's when we get the little tease at the end of Eradicator forming into like a Supermanoid shape.
Yep.
Claiming that he's going to fix Kal-El.
Shades of the 90s, but in such a good way.
Oh yeah. I think
the glasses.
It looks cool
I
enough.
love those glasses.
Yeah, it looks cool enough, and I'm liking what they're setting up. But definitely the highlights for me were all the John stuff and the human parts of the book. And also it's worth mentioning the art is, again, really good.
That scene where they're standing at each other, talking, I've already made up my background. Someone took the dialogue off, so it's already on my phone.
Didn't take long.
No, of course not.
Well,
but no, it's...
I would half expect the cat funeral page might have been one of your new backgrounds.
No, not for me. For you, I'll send it to you.
That's too sad. Why would you want to be reminded of that every time you look at your phone?
Well, other than the funeral part, it's a very happy looking scene. You got the whole family.
The rest of the scene is, but then you've got to look at the cat funeral and you got to go, oh yeah, a cat died. I mean, for me, it's like, sure, cat's dead. But for you,
goddamn, Connor, you really don't have a soul. Jesus
look, I used to be allergic to cats, and so I have like just a hatred of them. Like they cannot come near me. So I have to like, ooh, just cats.
Anyways, no, but yeah, Gleason's art really translates well. I was worried it wasn't going to translate as well, so he does the darker things better. Green Lantern Corps,
It's
Batman.
these bright colors that really make it pop out.
Yep. So.
Nah, it's looking great. I think Superman continues to be one of our favourites.
Yep.
Out of the pack.